Congratulations, you just won the lottery. Now, who are you going to call to protect your interests? Let me give you a hint. It ain't Ghostbusters. If you make the wrong moves, the vulture's going to start circling quickly and try to pick away at your winnings. Now, YouTube is full of lottery experts, but how many of them actually have won the lottery? Can you think of one? I can't. So, why are they the ones posting the videos? I'm about to show you the only person I'd call if I hit the jackpot. This is the one guy I would trust the most. He is a lawyer. He has represented at least 50 lottery winners, including a $1 billion lottery winner. So if anybody would know the ins and outs and the right things to do, I would trust this guy. So listen up.
Not sign and mark the ticket. Just make a copy of the front and the back, and then put the ticket in a safe place. Take a selfie, then put the ticket in a safe place. Because once you mark or sign the ticket,
Now he went over that pretty quick, but I wanted to emphasize. He says, take a selfie with the ticket as proof that you had the ticket in your hand. In case something happens to it and there's a dispute over who owns the ticket, you have that photograph with a timestamp and maybe even a geographic stamp in the metadata of the photo.
many states causes you to be identified, which I think is really the problem that people have had in the past when people know that they're the winner. So that's number one. Number two, keep the circle as small as possible. Don't tell anyone. I mean, certainly you have to tell your spouse, but tell your spouse. And it's kind of funny today because I know in my house, if we're talking about something, all of a sudden on my phone or on the computer during that week.
Now he says tell your spouse. I'm saying play it even safer and don't tell anybody. At least not right away. Wait till you had a chance to talk to somebody like him, or you've just had a, a few hours to calm down, a day to calm down, to think it through, to decide what you want to do with the money and how you want to spend it.
Week, I get all these messages of stuff, and I'm wondering if Google is really Google or if it's, something more than that. But maybe to talk to your spouse outside, in a quiet area, take a stroll on the beach or something like that, because God knows what's happening with our devices these days. Don't say something in front of kids. Get your ducks in order first. Hire that attorney to help out. Hopefully they call me, but hire that attorney with the experience, and then let the attorney really help the client bring in the right group. The attorney should bring in the investment group. When I talk to clients today that have won, I kind of feel them out. What kind of person are they? Are they someone that wants to see a whole bunch of suits, telling them that we got your money, we're investing it, don't worry about it? Or is it someone that wants someone who they can relate to, but everything will be online, that they'll get a statement and there's checks and balances, like through a Schwab account or Fidelity account somewhere. So you really have to, put that group together, put the CPA together to help with the tax returns. I tell people, hey, listen, budget for the most part, budget about 2% for these expenses. Kurt's fee, any CPA fee, other fees down the road. Because sometimes, I can do certain things for the client, but like I can't do a Delaware Asset Protection Trust for the client, even though I think they need it. So I would bring in a Delaware attorney to come in to help us do this Delaware Asset Protection Trust, or North Dakota has some great laws where you want to do asset protection, you want to do generation skipping, and there's certain things that I can do as a Florida attorney, but I can't do it for a client that lives out of state. But I bring the person in that I've dealt with in the past to bring in and have them do the documentation for the client and keep that attorney-client privilege. Bring the right CPA firm in that knows what they're doing, that have done this before. The last thing you want is for someone, go through all these hoops, and then someone goes to their local credit union with this big check from the Florida lottery or from the California lottery, and hands the clerk this big check, and they go, oh, so you were the winner, and then everything that we've done has just been undone. So, those are really keeping the circle small. Don't sign the back of the ticket. Find that experienced attorney. Those are really the key things, and just try to live your life as normal as possible. I mean, if you're working and it's very difficult for you, come up with an excuse that, hey, I'm not feeling good. I got COVID. I'm calling sick. Take a leave of absence if you need to. Don't just quit your job right away.
Don't show up in a Lamborghini the next
You
day.
don't want to do that just yet. You can go by really quick one day, but don't stop and park. Basically, the don'ts are more important. The do's are kind of the opposite of the don't.
That is the right answer from the right person. Ignore all these other so-called experts